Thanks a lot for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. This Thursday morning, we've already been checking them out, as you may have seen me when we returned from that break. Looking at the nation now, the first or the lead story there is captioned, of course, a follow-up of the Ibadan explosions, 3 dead, 77 injured, 58 houses damaged, and residents are also quoted giving their views on how the explosives boomed. In the meantime, the Federal Executive Council OK's review of laws on explosives and talking about residents whose properties were destroyed, notable Nigerians residing in Ibadan also speaking out about the level of damage, the level of destruction on their properties, including a senior advocate of Nigeria, Niyi Akintola. He said his hotel was destroyed, Oladokun as well, Olajide, these and other Nigerians lose buildings in the Tuesday incident. And here in Lagos, police tightened security in the fallout of the explosions in Ibadan. Other stories there talking about security, crowdfunding for ransom payment will worsen kidnapping. That's according to the federal government. Speaking on the spate of insecurity, kidnapping, and the likes in Nigeria, especially in the FCT. IGP raises squad. FCT will be hot for criminals, says the minister. Yesom Wike. CBN to crack down on forex violators. NERC, that's the Electricity Regulatory Commission, OK's hike in tariffs sector to get 1.6 trillion naira subsidy. Quickly now to the Punch. Residents blame Malian illegal miners as federal government probes blast. Now, this is still talking about the Ibadan explosion. There were corpses all over the street, says resident. Foreign names behind explosion. Governor Makinde is speaking there. Fish out those responsible. President Tinubu tells police. IG dispatches anti-bomb unit, 58 houses destroyed. And the pictures that you see splashed on the front page of the Punch also depict some of the major highlights of the explosion that occurred at Bodija in Ibadan, including that of the governor, Seyi Makinde, during his visit to the scene. Student loan begins January as federal government opens website soon. Ondo Amotekun arrests 19 kidnappers, 17 others. Federal government seeks $1.5 billion loans to shore up Naira and boost budget. CBN to tackle forex infractions with heavy sanctions. That's also mentioned in the Punch. Now let's see what this Nigeria has. The destructions following the explosion in Ibadan still on the front burner so far. Governor Makinde confirms 3 deaths, 77 injured. Victims recount ordeal as University College Hospital intensifies emergency response. President Tinubu orders security to get perpetrators. There are yet more ugly scenes of the explosion, with emergency and rescue workers doing their best at the scene in Ibadan. On insecurity, Wike takes town hall meeting to kidnappers hotspot as IGP inaugurates special intervention squad in the FCT. AFCC grills Accountant General over 585 million naira alleged fraud in Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. This is a recurring controversy. AFCC now extending its dragnet to the Accountant General over the alleged massive fraud. Anambra State Obi of Onisha knocks Governor Soludo for suspending monarch over Uba's chieftaincy. Alleged amnesty fraud. Court fixes February the 12th for hearing bank suit against the federal government. Nigerian Tribune is next on the Ibadan explosion. There are several riders there. 3 dead. Perpetrators must be fished out. Federal Executive Council raises committee to review laws on explosives. Those living within 250 meters of the incident are to temporarily relocate as governments conduct integrity tests on buildings. There's a drone shot again of the Bodija explosion site. Right. Nigeria Elders Forum raises concern over plans to relocate key CBN departments to Lagos. Race for the Edo gubernatorial election is heating up with yet more aspirants formally declaring for governor. Kidnapping. FEC warns against crowdfunding to pay ransom. And Kiari there, fuel subsidy removal. He's saying that this has eliminated cross-smuggling of oil products. Finally, with me is Daily Independent. Federal government raises committee to investigate breach of explosives control laws. Rivers Assembly threatens to stop getting correspondence from Governor Fubara. Now, President Tinubu is quoted as saying, lessons learned from BC Makinde, who clocked 85 years recently, enabled me clinch presidency. Tinubu to issue executive order to slash rising price of medicines. That was reported on the program earlier today. CBN tackles forex transaction abuses in clearing backlog. And Pat Utomi in the news now clarifying plans of merger and birth of a new political party. Ibrahim.
First news is the first with me here this morning. Ibadan explosion. Tinubu, Makinde talk tough. President says illegal miners must be fished out, punished as Oyo governor identifies foreigners as culprits. Foreign names found in CAC documents of company that stored explosives. Federal government sets up presidential committee to investigate breach of explosive control law. 60 victims treated, discharged. Rescue operation will continue till all lives are accounted for, Makinde assures. Southwest states will jointly intensify security. Governor Abiodun have been rendered homeless, says ex-Oyo deputy governor. How UK returnee died in explosion. Very sad. Kano Guba, Sanusi mocks Ganduje, others over Supreme Court's defeat, says you lost but made moves to hijack power. Nigeria's future politicians will be more corrupt. BC Makinde. Wike reads riot act to bandits in Abuja, says enough is enough, as IGP sets up special squad against bandits in the FCT. Stop paying ransom to kidnappers, says Defense Minister. By-elections, INEC publishes final list of candidates. Rivers Assembly confirms 9 Wike loyalists as commissioners. There was plan to annul 2023 presidential election. Shoyinka Pasero confused over injury to Super Eagles striker Sadiq. Beta Edu, EFCC quizzes AGF, invites more ministry officials. CBN uncovers forex violations, set to prosecute defaulters. The Guardian newspaper is next. Outrage as Ibadan explosion exposes illegal mining, weak regulations. Page 6. 36 oil firms record $425 billion windfall in 24 months, says report. Agbakoba tasks Tinubu on new constitution. Families of abducted persons appeal to Tinubu, Makinde, over 100 million naira ransom. Crowdfunding payment of ransom will worsen kidnapping. Federal government warns Nigerians. Without security, we have no business in government, says Wike. Nigeria may borrow more to sustain DISCOs, GENCOs as NERC adjusts tariff. Naira falls to $1,320 naira to the dollar amid uncertainty over MPC status. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. Next is Blueprint newspaper. The kicker reads, as bandits hold on to victims in the FCT, federal government declares ransom payments illegal, warns against crowdfunding, attributes Abuja crisis to military operations in Northwest, North Central. IGP inaugurates special intervention squad for FCT. Mietiala sets up 1,144 nomad vigilantes in Nasarawa. Federal government needs 1.6 trillion naira to subsidize electricity in 2024. NERC reviews tariff. Oxfam seeks review of dangerous tax incentive to corporate bodies. You can read that up, more on that on the Blueprint newspaper. Next is the Vanguard newspaper. Kidnapping will make Abuja too hot for criminals. That's according to Inyesom Wike. Buhari defends Emefiele on Naira redesign. FX backlog, CBN uncovers abuses, vows sanctions. You can read that up on the pages of the Vanguard newspaper. Next is the Leadership newspaper. Doubt trails January student loan takeoff. Student body says no portal open for applications. Urges President Tinubu to act before month end. Above the masthead, 9,734 persons killed, 4,067 others abducted in 2023. That's according to reports. By-elections, INEC releases final list of candidates. AFCON, Super Eagles battle Cote d'Ivoire's Elephants. We'll see how the Elephant is going to defeat the Eagles later today. Salient Times is next. Clean energy. Global leaders unite to triple investment in emerging economies. Man reportedly quit job to free himself from responsibility of catering for his family. My ears still ring from Ibadan explosion. Aisha Lawal narrates ordeal. Tinubu directs NEMA to offer relief to Ibadan explosion victims. Above the masthead, my family started Anglican Church in Nigeria, but I'm Juju worshipper. It will worsen the situation. Federal government asks Nigerians to stop crowdfunding for release of kidnap. Next is Nigerian News Direct, which is the penultimate paper with me. Federal government eyes $1.5 billion loan from World Bank, considers tapping domestic dollar savings. NCC grants, moving on to Ibadan explosion. 3 confirmed dead as government indicts foreign miners. FEC insists student loan will launch as scheduled in January. NBC has no power to find media houses. This is according to the court. And last but not least, tragedies as driver crushes Osun teacher to death. Last but not least on the papers with me, Business Day. IOC's exit deals to test Tinubu's investment drive. Nigeria among top destinations for Greenfield project pledges in Africa. Nigeria eyes Eurobond issuance, 1.5 billion naira from World Bank. And okay, so that's about it for the newspapers up for review this morning.
All right, there's so many stories there. Of course, that's normal. But you know what sticks out for me is this court report nullifying the role of the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission to impose fines on broadcasters, and this has been, you know, a recurring controversy, especially in its drive to ensure that, you know, hate speech isn't promulgated, so to speak, or isn't circulated or encouraged on
and fake news and
and the like. You know, this has have been evils, you know, of our present day Nigeria, and the NBC has been, you know, speaking in that regard, but. You know, the courts have yet again expressed that, you know, there is a line that, you know, the NBC has crossed. And, you know, while recognizing their rules to regulate broadcasting in Nigeria, there's also the aspect of fair hearing, as in how that you, being the NBC, being the regulatory body, will now come out and be the jury or the, you know, the lawyer, and then you are also the judge. You know, you can't be a judge in your own case, so to speak. So the court has spoken. Late last year, it was ECOWAS, the ECOWAS Court of Justice, that also nullified the powers of NBC to grant fines, and now, you know, a domestic court, the Nigerian court in Abuja, has also held, you know, likewise.
If you ask me, NBC has been actually trying, you know, in ensuring that there is sanity in the media space. A lot of people, a lot of quacks, you know, are getting into the profession, and they're doing so well. But then when you find someone, wanting, and then guilty of certain, you know, breach of the profession, I think it's good to call the person to order, whip them into line, but not you approbating at the same time, you're reprobating at the same time. You have to ensure that there is free hearing, you know, for the one who has been accused of, you know, alleged for misconduct and all of that. So I don't know whether it's going to stand the test of time. Maybe they will still continue with the
or choose to
you know,
appeal.
We'll see. But I do not feel that it is rational that you say, okay, you are guilty, and then the next thing is you impose fine, and then you want to let the fine. Take the person to court. Let there be free hearing. Why did you do this? And the person will be able to either defend or not being able to defend themselves, and the court will pronounce whoever is faulty or not.
Absolutely. Of course, as journalists too, the onus also rests on us, right. Especially in this age of, everybody is hungry. Everybody is now a publisher. And of course, the love for news, right. Has also increased. Right. we cannot rule out or ignore the influence of social media on a lot of things, especially in the, well, I use the word cautiously, business of news, or news business, so to speak. And, the power of social media is giving everybody a run. It's giving everybody a run for their money. And of course, that age-long, very, very familiar battle to break the news first and all of that. But of course, thankfully, the three arms of government are there. All right, let's move on now to talk about yet another disturbing controversy, and it's about security. When we return, we'll talk about, President Tinubu ordering security agencies and other stakeholders to up their game in curbing